Milk, which is the most wonderful of all foods, milk, butter, cheese, and similar products give animal fat in the form which rules out any need for killing innocent creatures. It is only through brute mentality that this killing goes on. The civilized method of obtaining needed fat is by milk. Slaughter is the way of subhumans. Protein is amply available through split peas, dal, whole wheat, etc. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणं गुणातां वितां तां सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्तांश नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरतिशे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे पंगुं लंघयते Hare Krishna. So we'll continue where we left yesterday. So we were reading from the divisions of faith, three divisions. In fact, uh, we completed 16th chapter yesterday and started with 17th chapter, where everything is being asked about those who do not follow the scriptures. Yah shastra vidim utsrujya vartate shraddhayanvita. Demons are those people who actually vartate kamakar. They do everything out of the lust, greed, and uh, anger like that. But they disregard scriptures also. But there are others who disregard the scriptures, but they have a lot of with faith. They do this yajante shraddhayanita. They actually perform worship with a lot of faith. So we saw many examples of those, and then now Lord has started talking about the of worship, the faith, and the worship in the three modes, the austerities in three modes, charity, food in the three modes. So our discussion currently is on about the food in the three modes. So 17.8 we saw there is no purport. 17.8 is about food in the mode of goodness. We saw the six purposes why we should eat food in the first place. Ayu, Sattva, Bala, Arogya, Sukha, Priti, Vivardhana. So it is imperative as a personal application, all of us, we should know about not only eating, but the purpose behind eating, and we should try for healthy diet, not just tasty diet, but it should be healthy and tasty as well. And then it should be giving, rasya, snigdha, stira, rudya, that kind of ahar, satvika ahar is actually very, very dear to those who in the mode of goodness. And that which is something which is very katva, amla, lavana, ati, ushna, tikshna, ruksha vidana. So all these too bitter, too sour, salty, hot, pungent, dry, burning, etc. That's actually ahara, which is actually very, very dear to those in the mode of passion, and which will give rise to dukkha, shoka, amaya, prada, like that. And now we are reading from 17.10. Yat yamam gatarsam, the food in the mode of ignorance. Yata yamam. Yata yamam means, Srila Prabhupada says, food cooked 3 hours before being eaten. Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan says yama. Yama means actually a prahar. A prahar is approximately 3 hours a quarter of a day or night, like that. So 3 hours, a quarter of 12 hours, like that. So uh, that is yatayama, cooked before 3 hours being eaten. So best is to always cook food fresh and being consumed. This kind of idea, putting a refrigerator and putting it inside and then continue to use or eat the same food days after days is not actually recommended. Gata rasam, the second quality is it is actually tasteless. Gata rasam. Or actually, Srila Baldev Devotion says it is having a bad taste. So natural taste is actually missing. Puti. Puti means actually it is bad smelling. Paryushitam. Paryushitam means it's decomposed, stale, cooked earlier day, it has become decomposed or stale. So we saw that story last time how Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur was in Burma, Rangoon. I mean, his disciples were there and they were actually observing that the people there in the surroundings neighborhood, they were actually putting dead animals into some barrel and decomposing those animals. And they were taking out the drink out of that, juice out of that, and they were drinking it as special, very special beverage or festival drink like that out of decomposed dead animals. It's a rotten animal drink. So when the devotees they were cooking puris in the pure ghee, the neighbors were complaining, oh, what kind of bad smell you are having, what kind of food you are cooking. So this is how the Kali Yuga is there. Everything is topsy-turvy, upside down. Paryushitam. Uchishtam. Uchishtam is actually somebody has already eaten and then we take that food as uchishtam. In the modern culture, this is considered as sign of love. You love somebody, you show your love by eating their remnants. Uchishtam. But this is actually condemned, this is actually in the mode of ignorance. Why? Srila Prabhupada will clarify, it will give rise to the diseases, whatever that person is having, that also you will capture those diseases. Of course, there's one qualification here. Unless the food is eaten by the spiritual master or a highly elevated, pure devotees, then it is not uchishtam. That uchishtam is actually desirable. So if you read first canto, Narad Vyasavad, Narad Muni is actually telling his own story, how the Bhakti Vedantas, the pure devotees, they were there in the rainy season. They at one place, they don't travel during rainy season, the same period which is going on now. And then Narad Muni's mother, Dasi, she and Narad Muni's small child, 5 years old, they were serving the Bhakti Vedantas, the pure devotees. And once, what happened? Narad Muni took their Uchishta. उच्छिष्टलेपानन्दो अनुमोदितो द्विजय सकृत् सबुञ्जान् तदपाष्टकिल विषय एवं प्रवृत्तस्य विशुद्ध चेतसस् तद्धर्म एवात्मरुचि प्रजायते. So Narad Muni is telling Uchishta Lepan, whatever food they had taken, Uchishta was remaining, I just took that. Anumodito Dvija, by their permission, I asked them. And then Sakrut means only once, not repeatedly, only once. Tadapashta kil vishay. Once I took that bunje, so that actually removed all the kilbeshe, that is all the uh, uh, contaminations were removed from me. Evam pravuttasya vishuddha chetasas, that made my chetana vishuddha, that made my, beyond the modes also, and sadharma evatma ruchi prajayate. Whatever the dharma, whatever the nature those pure devotees were having, whatever activities they were doing, I got interest, ruchi in those activities. That means, in short, he got interest in the ruchi in the bhakti, in the path of devotional service. And Srila Prabhupada writes a very famous statement there. Pure devotion is as much infectious in the good sense as infectious disease. Just like if somebody is having TB, and if you eat that food remnant of that particular person, you will also catch TB. So similarly, pure devotion, but in a good sense, if you eat a pure devotee's uchishta, that will infect you with pure devotion. And that's how he writes there that boy became infected with the qualities of purity by their association and by eating once the remnants of the foodstuff taken by them. So that's a qualification, that's an exception for Uchishta. Otherwise, all other Uchishta, the so called sign of love, is actually not recommended, or it is actually in the mode of ignorance. Uchishtam api cha amedhyam. Amedhyam means it is actually untouchable. So non-veg, liquor, all these things, they call it as a non-veg. We discuss this, veg and non-veg. So it's actually dead carcass. A dead body, we are not in a Vedic culture, we're not supposed to touch. And even if by accident or by choice, even if we touch it, we have to purify by taking bath. So what to speak of eating dead animal or so-called non-veg, we are not supposed to touch it also, like that. Okay, so that is amedhya. So we read that now in the purport 17.10 purport, Srila Prabhupada brings out the points from the 17.8 and 9. So the first paragraph we read about, Ayu Sattva Bala Arogya, the duration of life, purity, purifying the mind, Sattva, like bodily strength, Bala, Arogya, etc., etc. And what are some of the products, milk products, sugar, rice, wheat, fruits, vegetables. So we should, all the Matajis especially, they should do research. What is food mode in the mode of goodness? We are not so addicted to mode of goodness, but at least we should avoid in the passion and ignorance. That's the first step. And then whatever we are cooking, which is healthy, and which is tasty also, which is hot, clear, clean, that should be offered to the Lord and made it transcendent, like that. So these are the mode of goodness, food Prabhupada writes, and how he writes about the what is that? Uh, Snigdha. Snigdha in the context of Snigdha, Srila Prabhupada writes the fatty foods. And the fatty food is actually not by killing the animal, the fats we have to consume, but we have to take the milk, which is available in the most natural form, and it is actually the most wonderful milk. If you read Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada calls cow milk as the liquefied form of religion. It is a liquefied form of religion. Of course, in Kali Yuga, as I said, everything is topsy-turvy. So you go to drink cow milk, but you don't know whether it is infected with urea, what are the chemicals, which kind of water, whether at least are they mixing clean water or some other water they are mixing. We are not so sure. But that's, he says, it is actually the wonderful food in the liquefied form of religion. And the milk products which are made, milk, butter, cheese, etc., etc. Okay. And the protein, sometimes the people say, oh, we want protein, therefore we eat non-veg, this, that, we take protein supplements, this, that. Actually, protein is amply available through split peas, dal, whole wheat, etc., etc. So Lord has made sufficient arrangement for our health and for everything, but we need to take advantage of that, like that. Okay, and of course, nowadays milk also, I've seen it myself when I was in Switzerland. They just, I mean, they don't milk the cow naturally within a hand. They put some machines. They put cow into tight position, some barricades from all the four sides, so the cow will not move here and there. Then they will put some machines, and the machines will actually squeeze out the milk out of the udder of the cow, and that's actually very painful. It is not very natural. Sometimes the cow may also, whether she has that Vatsalya bhav or not, and they are forcing milk out of her. Sometimes the blood may come, etc., etc. It's very Kali Yuga is actually very bad. So that's about the first paragraph about 17.8. 17.2, Srila Prabhupada touches about 17.9 and 10. Food in the mode of passion and ignorance. Food in the mode of passion, which are bitter, too salty, too hot, overly mixed with red pepper, cause misery by reducing the mucus in the stomach, leading to disease. So if you want to know more about this, you can consult an Ayurvedic doctor, and they will tell you more about how this eating anything extreme, too hot, too pungent, too dry, that is actually not good. And the food in the mode of ignorance, which we just read, yata yamam gatarasam poti parishitam chiyat uchishtam apichamedhya bhojanam tamasa priya. So they write food in the mode of ignorance and darkness, essentially those that are not fresh. First thing, any food cooked more than 3 hours before it is eaten, except prasadam food offered to the Lord, is considered to be in the mode of darkness because they are decomposing. Such foods give a bad odor, which often obstructs people in this mode, but repulses those in the So these are some of the general rules which are given. So we all know that when we actually cooked, there are some exception to these rules also. When we would chapan bhog, etc., we don't prepare everything within 3 hours, right? We cook many dry items, especially chapan bhog, especially the sweet items, much more before a day earlier or whatever. Even if you have to take a bhoga offering, drona bhoga into the temple, also we cook it the day earlier or more than 3 hours. So especially such kind of dry items, sweet items, that is okay, But this is a general principle which is given here. And what about you, chishtam? Remnants of food that may be eaten by only when they are part of the meal that was first offered to the Supreme Lord or first eaten by saintly persons, especially the spiritual master. Otherwise, the remnants of food are considered to be in the mode of darkness and they increase infection or disease. So we spoke about the spiritual infection, how Narad boy was infected with purity of the Bhakti Vedantas. Such foodstuffs, although very palatable to persons in the mode of darkness, are neither liked nor even touched by those in the mode of goodness. The best food is the remnants of the what is offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Lord says that He accepts preparations of vegetables, flour, and milk when offered with devotion. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. Yome bhaktya parachati tadam bhakti upratam. So that bhakti word comes twice. So that which is prepared by devotee, that which is offered by devotion. Lord is not hungry for the food as such. Srila Prabhupada says, when Lord says, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam. Surrender unto me. Oh, Lord is not saying because Lord is short of some servants, in his spiritual world. Therefore, Lord is saying, please surrender unto me and please serve me. Lord is not required our service, neither anything. Srimati Radharani is cooking so many varieties which she doesn't repeat twice. That's the specialty of Srimati Radharani. She has 18 chulas, it is said, and on 18 chulas, she is making simultaneously different preparations. And nothing becomes, oh, जला हुआ वगैरह इत्यादि कुछ नहीं हो जाता. So that's the specialty of Radharani, and there are thousands of Lakshmis. Lakshmi Sahasra Shata Sambrama Sevimanam Govindam Adi Purusham Tapam. So Lord is not in need of anything, but it is our need. It is our requirement that we do this with devotion and offer something to the Lord. If you read Ishavasam Vidam Sarvam, Prabhupada writes, why we need to offer food to the Lord? Because Ishavasam Vidam Sarvam, everything belongs to God. Everything is given by Lord. The sunlight, the plant, the seed, the earth, the water, the oxygen, whatever is required is given by Lord. You only given us the food. So it is your first right, my dear Lord. Take this, and then we will take it after that as a prasadam. And also in the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita, if you read Yadna Shishtasina Santo Muchante, sir, in that section 3.13, all around that. So Prabhupada will write, when you eat the food offered to Lord, then Ahara Shuddho, Sattva Shuddhi, all those things he writes goes from the Vedas. So your Sattva, your consciousness will become purified, your Smriti will come back. Your Smriti comes back, then you'll think of liberation. That is the importance of the food, not just in mode of goodness, which we are discussing, but transcendental food. So Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, of course, devotion and love are the chief things which the Supreme Personality of Godhead accepts. But it is also mentioned that prasadam should be prepared in a particular way. Any food prepared by injunctions of scriptures and offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be taken even if prepared long ago, because such food is transcendental. Therefore, to make food antiseptic, eatable, and palatable for all persons, one should offer food to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Of course, there is another side also. It's not just because it is prasadam. I cook dal and keep it outside in the hot season and eat it after 2 days, 3 days. It will not remain just because it is prasadam. Of course, if you have that consciousness, it is transcendental. Like Raghunath Das Goswami, what he was doing, all the things which were rejected, even by rejected by the cows, those grains he will collect and then clean them, wash them, and then eat them like that. That is a different thing. That's transcendental. Because we are on the material platform, those things will affect us also materially. That will also, which is although prasadam, but it also, because it is made up of material elements, it will also decompose and therefore it cannot be consumed by ordinary devotees like us. Okay. Anybody would like to share your journey of prasadam, sattvic food, the philosophy behind the food, what you were having earlier before coming to ISKCON, and now that you are in ISKCON? Anything quickly? Otherwise, we'll go ahead and we'll start with the next section, that is about 11 to 22, sacrifices, austerities, and charity in 3 modes. Okay. So, Prerna Mata, you can please share.
Yes, Prabhuji, 10 years back when I newly joined ISKCON, actually, my friend used to give, whenever I used to visit her place, she started giving me prasad slowly, slowly. I was not, I used to be full, but still it was prasad I used to accept. And then slowly, slowly, she told me how prasad is important. Then after when I started Bhagavad Gita class, he gave me the shloka list, which while offering, we have to chant the shloka. Then after now, in my family, what I said briefly in narrate, before we used to have onion and garlic in everything. We used to fond of onion and garlic, but now in my family, my husband and me, even our parents, they don't like food. They don't eat food outside, and when they see food is being prepared with onion and garlic, they think that no, we are not that much interested to eat it. Even my husband prohibits that. Previously we used to eat a lot outside food, but now it is stopped,
Okay.
and
Okay,
the
fine, great. So that's a great transformation.
consciousness also getting purified with that, Prabhuji.
Great, great. Okay, I'm very happy to hear this. Yes, Madhav Harinam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes, after taking only prasad for many long time, if somehow or other happen to take fruits also without offering, then we can feel that the taste is different. There is no such special taste in the fruits which are not offered to Krishna. Then the fruits offered to Krishna, even we can feel. So that's the power of offering to Krishna.
Okay, okay, great, great. Thank you. Prasanna Gopal.
Yeah, Prabhuji, regarding prasadam, one devotee was telling that the ingredients of making prasadam is also same, like just like outside other food. But why prasadam is tasty? So the answer given by the that devotee is that the when we offer to the Lord actually tastes, and the saliva of Lord is mixed in that food. That's why that taste comes to that food, whatever is, and it becomes a tasty, more tasty than this. So that I liked, and that gives like a purity which we get in us. And then of course prasadam has in the beginning the prasadam was only the attraction which we used to get after maybe 6 sessions, whatever, or every time, like, and even Sunday feast. So whatever philosophy we used to hear, it was said that prasadam will digest and then keep us in the Krishna consciousness. So prasadam is
Okay, Haribol, very nice. Yes. So that's why ISKCON is also called as kitchen religion. In all other religious organizations we used to go earlier, they used to give some prasadam on the hand or a little bit. Okay. But when ISKCON, we came to ISKCON, the full plate of prasadam is there. And especially when I was in Dubai, there were South Indian people, there were Bengalis, there were North Indians, Kashmiris, and Maharashtrian, and you what not. Everybody's there, all variety you will get scholars. Arun Jaiswal, are you okay? You would like to share from the bed of the hospital?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Please.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
So,
Krishna.
like, my parents were vegetarian since childhood. They have never eaten even today, till today. But they never forced us. So I was playing football when so I started eating with friends, not even non-veg. So even when I would go for tournaments outside, so there I have started eating all 7 days. So so it
7 days
was
breakfast, lunch, dinner.
no, not all
No, no,
3.
it's okay. I'm just joking. Go ahead. Yeah.
So but then when I came, I joined, like I came to Krishna consciousness. I decided, I understood the reason that why we should not eat. Earlier it was like बस नहीं खाना चाहिए, लेकिन क्यों नहीं खाना चाहिए उतना अंडरस्टैंडिंग नहीं था. फिर when I understood, then I decided, okay, I'll not eat. So it took me um, almost 2 years to leave it, but then I left and now it is something like, uh, when I came to home, I said that now we should offer food to Lord and then eat only prasad. So earlier it was little difficult because my mother used to offer sometimes, but not every day, every time, not everything. But then she also adjusted, and now the situation is like, even if I'm not there, they would not cook onion garlic, and they make sure that each and everything is offered and then only taken. So that
Hari,
is the transformation I've seen.
Hari bol, Jai, Hari bol. All
Even my
glories to Krishna.
one more thing, even my sister's husband. So like he appreciates ISKCON, but he directly says that I I won't follow much. Like I cannot follow that much. They live in Pune only. They go to temple, ISKCON temple. But he always takes my sister and says, "Chalo khichdi khane jayenge." My sister chants. He does not chant, but he always take her कि खिचड़ी खाने जाना है करके. So maybe he will become devotee.
Yes, yes.
Devotees can pray.
Yes, yes, definitely, because the infection has already started, pure infection in him now, and that infection will take some time, whatever, in due course, and it's a matter of time that he will also become a devotee, and we'll also pray for him. Thank you. Very bold. So now, Lord Sri Krishna in the next three verses will speak about the sacrifices, yajna, in the goodness, passion, and ignorance. Everything is in these three modes now. So first is the sacrifice in goodness. अफलकाङ्क्षीर्भिर्यज्ञो विधिरिष्टो य इज्यते यष्टव्यम् एवे इति मनः समाधाय स सात्विक. Please read. Madhav Harinam Prabhuji. Yashtavya इति मनः.
Translation of sacrifices. The sacrifice performed according to the direction of scriptures as a matter of duty by those who desire no reward is of the nature of goodness.
Okay, thank you. So sacrifices according to the direction of scriptures, vidhidishtam and yashtavyam, as a matter of duty, and afala akankshibhir means who desire, those who do not desire any reward. Phala is not expected. Akankshibhir, afala akankshibhir. That is the mode in the that is the yajna or sacrifice which is performed in the mode of goodness. So, what are the qualities that qualify sacrifice in mode of goodness? Srila Prabhupada writes, the general tendency is to offer sacrifice with some purpose in the mind, but here it is stated that sacrifice should be performed without any such desire. It should be done as a matter of duty. So, no material desire, as a matter of duty minimum. Take, for example, performance of rituals in temples or churches. Generally, they are performed with the purpose of material benefit, but that is not the mode of goodness. One should go to a temple, church, or as a matter of duty, offer respect to the Supreme Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead, and offer flowers and eatables without any purpose of obtaining material benefit. Everyone thinks that there is no use in going to temple just to worship the God. But worship for economic benefit is not recommended in the scriptural traditions. Where it is not recommended, in the Bhagavatam there is a verse, first canto, dharmasya hi apavargasya nartho arthaya kalpate. Dharma is to be performed for apavarga. What is pavarga? You know, pavarga. What?
Yeah, Parishram,
Uh,
Pafabhavama, that
yeah,
is Pavarga.
yes,
Parishram, then one works hard, do hard work, and then it fails by after doing the hard work. Then it becomes a bhai. The bhai is there for him, and then there is a mrityu is awaiting for him.
yes.
Uh, yeah,
Yes,
that is
that's what. Pa, fa, ba, bha, ma. Pa stands for parishram, as you said. Pa stands for foam. One foams at the mouth by doing all kinds of hard work. Pa, fa, ba. Ba means bandhan. It becomes a bondage. We get attached to those things which we acquired. Ba, bha means bhaya of losing them again. And ma means whether we have bhaya, we don't have bhaya, attached, not attached. At the time of death, everything will be snatched from you. Mrityu sarva haraschaham. And then dharmasya hi apavargas. Dharma is to be performed for obtaining apavarga. Pavarga means material world and apavarga means spiritual world. So perform dharma for obtaining or going to the spiritual world. Nartho arthaya kalpate. Do not perform dharma for some material gain. Narthasa dharma kantasya kamo labhaya smrita means even if you gain some material gain by performing dharma, don't use it for self gratification. That is what is being stated. Okay. So we know in temple India, especially, they come, ring the bell, they fold the hand. We don't know what they're asking for. They will take out the list from their pocket, which cannot be seen by anybody else, and they will say, "Hamari mangi puri karo. I want this, I want that." If you go and ask people in temple, those who especially collect the hundi after some days, they have shown me one time one chit. I mean, so many things they come. This my marriage is not happening. This boy, that girl, she's not looking at me. That is not looking at me. And then one person has returned. This project is very troublesome. My lord, please change my project and give me some another project in the job. Like that also is. So all these rituals going to temple. So they have so many demands, and then they say if that demand is fulfilled, oh, that is a Jagrut Devasthan. That is a Jagrut Devasthan. Like that they will say like. Okay. Of course, Sudha Goswami has given the answer to the first question of the sages of Naimisharanya. What is the most beneficial and ultimate thing for the human beings? Savai Pumsam Parodharma. The Parodharma or transcendental dharma is Yato Bhakti Radokshi, which will generate or which will give rise to the devotional service to the Lord. And especially Ahetuki Apratihata. If it is done, Yayatma Suprasiddhi. Uh, it will actually satisfy, it will please, it will bring pleasure to the soul. Yayatma Suprasiddhi. Okay. So Nectar of Devotion, if you read, that is also, like Prabhupada is writing here, if there is no use in going to temple just to worship, there is no material benefit. But actually, this is one of the limbs of Bhakti in NOD you will study, that just go and offer obeisances to the Lord, offer some prayers, wonderful prayers, different kinds of prayers are there. You will study that in detail. And then one should look at the deity with lot of devotion. How we should look at the deity, right from his lotus feet, etc. onwards. Everything description is actually given like that. Rather than gaining material gifts from the Lord, material benefits, we can offer gifts to the Lord in the temple. We can give the flute, we can give the chamara, some devotees give flowers, mangoes, seasonal fruits, clothes, new clothes, ornaments, jewelry. So many things we can actually give it to the Lord as our loving reciprocation. Okay. Next is sacrifice in the mode of passion. Abhisandaya tu phalam dambhartham api chaiva yat ijjate bharata sreshtha tam yajnam vidirajasam. But the sacrifice performed for some material benefit or for the sake of pride, O chief of Bharatas, you should know to be in the mode of passion. Abhisandaya means desiring or aimed at. Abhisandaya tu phalam. I want some phala, particular benefit. I have some material desire, right? And dambhartham api chaiva. It is performed for the sake of Damba. We already see Damba so many times. Damba means trying to make a show of being religious, trying to be famous as a religious person. Ijjate is performed tam yajnam viddirajasam. Know that yajna, that sacrifice, is actually in the mode of rajasam. Sometimes sacrifice and rituals are performed for elevation to the heavenly kingdom. We saw that in second chapter Bhagavad Gita. Yam imam pushpitam vadam pravadanti avipashita. Vedavadartha partha nanyad asti iti vadina. What else is there in the Vedas other than kamatmanam sargapara janma karma phalapradam? Get some fruits, get some good birth in the good families, go to Swarga, enjoy the heavenly. What is there other than this? What is the purpose? What any other purpose is there in the Vedas? This is the purpose. They will say. Who will say? Veda Vadarata. Those are so-called students of the Vedas. Of course, devotees, they know Vedesh Sarvet, Amay Ved, but they don't know that. So, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj is there in his journey home. He writes, he was there newly arrived in India, and he was in New Delhi, and there was a big family, business family was there. They were performing puja, worship for a demigod, and it was going on. I mean, Maharaj was impressed by that. He was new, and he was seeking something spiritual. So he saw with a lot of devotion, a lot of shraddha, faith, very nicely they're performing. So he waited there. He thought, I should learn something from these people. And then after 1 hour of puja performing, then they were speaking good English. So Maharaj asked them to the person there, the main person, that can you please explain me what was going on? What was your thought process? What is the philosophical thought behind your this puja, worship, etc.? And then that person said, oh, recently we just expanded our business. And we want our business to go on very well, expanded business to go on very well. That's all. That's why we were doing. We were praying to God for that prosperity in the expanded business. So Maharaj was shocked and he said, oh, is that all? Yes. What else is there? What else is there? If you have money, everything goes on in life nicely. What else you require? That was the reply came to him. And then he thought, I mean, he must have thought, this is, I'm adding. He must have thought, no, I must learn somewhere else. Now I should go somewhere else and learn from somewhere else. So that's about expecting some material benefits and all for the sake of making a show. That is yajna in the mode of passion. Ignorance now. Yajna in the mode of ignorance. Vidhihinam असृष्टान्नं मंत्रहीनमदक्षिणं श्रद्धाविरहितं यज्ञं तामसं परिचक्षते. Please read, Prerna Mataji. 17.13.
Any sacrifice performed without regard for the direction of scripture, without distribution of prasadam, that is spiritual food, without chanting of the Vedic hymns and remuneration to the priest, and without faith is considered to be in the mode of ignorance.
Please read the small purpose.
Faith in the mode of darkness or ignorance is actually faithlessness. Sometimes people worship some demigod just to make money and then spend the money for recreation, ignoring the scriptural injunctions. Such ceremonial show of religiosity are not accepted as genuine. They are all in the mode of darkness. They produce a demoniac mentality and do not benefit human society. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. So, vidhihinam, without any vidhi. Yes, Shastra vidhim utsrujya. That's the theme right now, right? Vartate yad shraddhayanvita. So, like that. So, in ignorance, vidhihinam is without reference to the scriptural direction. Asruštannam. Asruštannam means without distributing the food or spiritual food or without distribution of the prasadam. Mantrahinam, no chanting of the Vedic hymns only. Adakshinam, the priest comes, performs, but you don't give him dakshina only. And Shraddhahinam, Shraddha Virahitam. Shraddha Virahitam means without any faith. करना है हाँ करो करो फटाफट करो भाई खत्म करो चलो हुआ कि नहीं अभी तक हमको अभी बाकी का हमारा मेन फंक्शन है like that you say what faith you have in the process like that. So all these things items are actually very very important. It should be as per the scriptural direction. We must chant our satsang. If you see, these four components are very very important. This chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra or chanting of the shlokas. That's why we recite the verses every time. And then, some priest, if he comes to perform those things, then we should give some dakshina, whatever is our capacity. Not this much, that much. Of course, nowadays it has become business. As I said, Kali Yuga, everything is topsy-turvy. But whatever as per our desired capacity, we should give him dakshina like that. Brahmacharis, they come home, they do some satsang, give something to them, at least some fruits, some dakshina, like that. So, and we should have faith. And then at the end, we should distribute prasadam, like that. But now, because of the lockdown and all these things, online satsang, online bhakti shastri, everything is online. So neither we can do properly sankirtanam because everybody is having not sync. Network speed is not same, so it will go up and down. So we cannot do it properly, and then there's no distribution of the prasadam, etc. So they sometimes they just make money and they spend for recreation, ignoring scriptural injunctions. So once I made a businessman, he was telling me, oh, I mean, I don't know what was his attitude, but this is what I thought it is matching here. He said, I go to Tirupati every year without fail. Without fail, I'll go every year to Tirupati. And later on, I came to know, I mean, he was explaining later that because now he has made Tirupati, and he will go to Tirupati, he will offer a lot of money also, charity also. But now he said he has made Tirupati Balaji as his business partner. It's a sleeping business partner. Means actively he will not do anything, but he's as business partner. So whatever profit or turnover, whatever, before taxation, after taxation, whatever is there, he will offer some major, maybe 5%, 10%. He has committed, and then he offer rest. He will enjoy for himself. So these things also you observe. Okay, so now that was about the yajna in the goodness, passion, and ignorance, and now Lord will speak about the austerities. Before he speaks austerities in the mode of goodness, passion, ignorance, he will talk about the three types of austerities: the austerities of the body, austerity of the mind, and austerity of the speech. Kaya, manasa, vacha. Like we say, Vaishnava sannyasis, they are three-dandi sannyasis. What is three-danda signifies? They are offering their body, kaya, manasa, their mind, and their vacha, the power to speech, everything in the service of the Lord. That is the three dandi sannyasis. So that's how Lord will explain three kinds of austerities. And then he will, this Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says, first the Lord speaks of three types of sattvic austerity in the three verses. And then he will further go on to describing the austerity in the general sense, goodness, passion, and ignorance also. So first, austerity of the body. Now, austerities means voluntarily accepting some difficulties, mental, bodily, voluntarily for spiritual progress. Actually, that is the real austerity. But now, like Rishabh says to his sons, 100 sons in Bhagavatam, fifth canto, in his teachings, tapo divyam putrakayena sattvam, tapo divyam, perform divya tapa. So, what is this tapa of the body, austerity of the body? 17.14. Deva Dvija Guru Pradnya Pujanam Shauchamarjavam Brahmacharyam Ahimsa Cha Shariram Tapu Uchyate. Please read. Bhakti Leela Madhuri.
Yes, Guruji.
17.14.
Yeah. Austerity
Of the body.
of the body.
Yeah.
Right. Austerity of the body consists in worship of the Supreme Lord, the Brahmanas, the spiritual master, and the superiors, like the fathers and mother, and in cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, and non-violence.
Okay.
Purpose, should I read?
No, it's okay. So, see, Pujanam, first item of the austerity of the body is Pujanam, means worship. Why in the worship there is an austerity of the body? How Pujanam is related to austerity? Because you have to get up early, you have to take bath, you have to clean yourself without any food, you have to stand, offer items, all the Upchara mantras, the mantras, tantras, Upcharas, everything you have to do. So that's actually body, then you have to clean the temple also, right? So all these things, they require bodily austerity. So even if there are spiritual masters, the elderly persons, you have to bow down to them physically, right? To offer the dandavat or to take their blessings. So that's actually bodily austerity. Deva, first item is Deva, Dvija, Guru, Pradnya. Deva means the Supreme Lord here, Deva. And then Dvija. Dvija means actually the Brahmanas. If you see, Lord Krishna is not only speaking this verse in Bhagavad Gita, he's actually shown it by own example. If you read the 10th canto where the Rukmini, Mother Rukmini sends a message through a Brahmana, and he comes all the way traveling to Krishna and Dwarka, and then he gives that, because Rukmini is getting married, Rukmi, her brother, is getting her married to Shishupal, and this is not is wanted by Rukmini. So she sends the letter, the first love letter, right? And then when it is received by Lord Sri Krishna from the Brahmana, what he does with that Brahmana first is actually he makes him sit on his throne, and then he worships that Brahmana as if the demigods how they worship the Supreme Lord, or we worship the Supreme Lord, like that. And after that, Brahmana is given food, then he has taken rest. Then after that, Lord is massaging with his own hands his feet, that Brahmana's feet. And after that, he's asking him question. Bolo abhi, kya laye, kya sandesh lekar aaye? like that. So it is not like, just courier aaya, phek diya, chala gaya, and sandesh is there. That's the Vedic culture. Lord is showing through his own examples. Deva Dvija, Guru. Guru, of course, we know spiritual master. So many examples. The disciples serving spiritual masters, right? Deva Dvija, Guru. Pradnya. Pradnya means those who are like learned in the Vedic scriptures. They are Pradnya. So even, one second, Deva Dvija Guru Pradnya, like that. So Srila Prabhupada includes them, the father and mother also in them, like that. Okay. So that's actually the bodily, and then maintaining cleanliness. We saw that internal cleanliness, external cleanliness, simplicity, arjavam, simple in behavior, approachable, celibacy, brahmacharya. We saw so many times earlier also. So, and the non-violence. These are the items that is actually not killing others or stopping their progress. That is actually bodily austerity. And then Srila Prabhupada talk about the Pujanam. The Supreme Godhead here explains the different kinds of austerity and penances. First, he explains the austerities and penances practiced by the body. One should offer or learn to offer respect to God, demigods, perfect qualified brahmanas, and the spiritual master and superiors like father, mother, any person who is conversant with the Vedic knowledge, pradnya. They should be given proper respect. So Vedic culture is about responsibility and giving respect. Modern culture is about freedom, no respect, right? Even in the corporate, they call their boss, by their name. That's the style we have in corporate world also. Like no respect. And teachers, etc. Nowadays, hardly. Of course, it's both the sides, from teacher side and student side also. There's no respect. Elderly persons, no respect by the children also. So they don't need any blessings. They think everything we can do on our own. Now we have Google, this, that, technology. What is the need of taking blessings like that? So Brahmananda Prabhuji was there in initial days. Swamiji used to come down from his room and give Bhagavad Gita classes 3 days in a day, 3 times in a week. And then everybody used to bow down. But one person, Brahmananda Prabhu, sorry, not Brahmananda, his brother, I think, so, yes. His brother,
Gargamuni.
Gargamuni, yes. So Gargamuni, he used to just sit like that. He did not offer any obeisances to Swamiji when he came down. So he was also not feeling somehow comfortable. So one day, Swamiji asked after the class, any questions? And he said, when you come down, everybody offers obeisances. They bow down, bodily austerity. But I don't feel like. So is that okay? If I don't feel, I don't offer obeisances. Swami said, no. You offer obeisances, then the feeling will automatically come, like offering this. And that's how he started, and it worked. Then he continued, offering obeisances. And his brother, Brahmananda Prabhu. Now, here, Lord is talking about, offering obeisances to the father, mother, elderly, like that. So, Brahmananda Prabhu, after coming to ISKCON, he went to the first time to his mother, visit his mother, and he rang the bell of the apartment. And the mother opened the door, and nobody was there. Oh, she's shocked. And then he saw on the ground, oh, my son is lying down on the ground and he's kissing the earth. And she's saying, oh, what happened to you? Why are you kissing the earth? Because for her, it was a cultural shock, this kind of paying obeisances, dandavat to father, mother. It's cultural shock for us. Like that. So there are some of things. Okay, brahmacharya we can talk a lot, but non-violence also we spoke in the 13.8 to 12, ahimsa, not preaching Krishna consciousness. That is a subtle meaning. And ahimsa also we saw not checking anyone's progress in life. We saw in the 16th chapter, first 26 qualities of the divine nature. So that's about the bodily austerity. By worshipping all these categories, the Supreme Lord, the Brahmanas, the Guru, spiritual master, the anybody elderly, that is actually Pradnya, the one who's conversant with the Vedic knowledge, studied in the Vedic scriptures, or even our father, mothers like that. Then maintaining cleanliness, external, internal, simplicity, arjavam, and brahmacharyam, and ahimsa. And that's austerity of the body. Next, austerity of the speech. That's very, very important. Anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priyahitam chayat swadhyayabhyasanam chayo vangmayam tapuchite. Please read. Prasanna Gopal.
Austerity of speech consists in speaking the words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others, and also in regularly reciting the Vedic literatures.
Okay. So, Srila Rupa Goswami has given the letter of instruction. You already have studied. I think you have studied that. Have you not studied NOI?
Next book.
Oh, next is okay. So the very first verse starts, is Vacho Vega, Manasa Krodha Vega. Six types of Vegas. Just like the river is flowing with the Vega, it is difficult to stop her. Similarly, there's urge to speak, Prajalpa, bad words, with revengeful attitudes, so many things, right? So I think sometimes those 11 verses are so powerful actually, even to implement. It's all about personal application. Nectar of instruction is all about direct personal application. How we can progress from a normal sadhaka to pure devotee. So even the very first instruction, the first verse, the first word itself, vacho vegam, I find it so difficult, right? Right? So here the same thing. Um, it is being said, anudvega karam vakyam. Don't speak that is agitating to the others. Of course, Srila Prabhupada will clarify that we should generally not speak something which is agitating to others. Some people, they have the habit of speaking double meaning words, right? They purposely provoke the others. Uchkana hum log bolte hain, uchkate hain दूसरों को, right? So speaking double meaning. But generally we should not speak anudvega kar. Okay? But it is Srila Prabhupada says, if they are your students, if you are giving instructions to your students, especially a spiritual master or a teacher is speaking, then that is okay. They can agitate them because they're speaking for their benefit, like that. So there are many examples. Any example you can remember where a student is being spoken very harshly, very is being scolded, or is speaking provocatingly to the by the teacher, by the spiritual master. Any example you can think of in the Bhagavad Gita itself, you can find, in this when the Bhagavad Gita, Lord starts speaking in the second chapter, the very first verse, second verse, I think so. Kutastva kashmalamidam vishame samupasthitam anadijishtam klaibamyasmagama partha naitatvayu upapadyate. Klaibya means napusak, important. To call a kshatriya important is the greatest, what you can say, it is the insult. And for kshatriya, insult is like worse than death. They will do anything. They will immediately take out and kill you there on the spot. But because it is the Lord who is acting as the spiritual master, Guru means heavy. So he's chastising Arjuna like anything. And what is that 2.11? Ashochananu sochastam prajnavadam se bhasate. Gatasu na gatasu nanu sochanti pandit. So Pandita will not lament for either living or the dead, but you are speaking as if you are very learned. It means you are a fool number one, Prabhupada writes. So he's calling Arjuna fool number one. He's calling Arjuna important. It's very, very strong words because Arjuna is students. There's a relationship, and Arjuna will obviously not take it in any other way like that. Therefore, Lord is speaking through Arjuna to us. If he directly speaks to us, Jiva, and says, "You fool Jiva, you Napusaku Jiva," then we'll just close Bhagavad Gita there only and keep it in the shelf as it is. Anyway, we want to keep it as it is in the shelf. So we got another reason to keep it as it is. And then if you speak first canto also, Vidurji, when he comes back after the pilgrimages, when the war is over, now the Pandavas have come back to the Hastinapur, and Dhritarashtra, his brother, is staying with the Pandavas. Vidurji speaks in such a harsh word. You are like a dog. Dog is being thrown some pieces of food or biscuits or bread, and you're wagging your tail and eating that. Similarly, the Bhima, you tried to kill Bhima, that same Bhima and the Pandavas, they're ruling here now, and they are giving you some food and you are eating that, just like a dog. Like that, he incited anger in him and incited him to, for his own benefit, of course. Vidura had a relationship with Dhritarashtra, and Dhritarashtra never took him wrong. He always knew he always speaks in my favor for my betterment, but he was not having the heart to implement those. But now he could implement that, and he went out for perfecting his own life like that. Okay, fine. So many examples. Srila Prabhupada many times he calls rascal this that. So sometimes some people they get offended, but actually it's out of concern for our benefit. Many times Prabhupada scolded or chastised his disciples, they never felt, it's very bad. Why this? They actually felt very good and they took it in a very positive manner because there was never an malice with which he spoke. He always spoke with the intention of doing good to them. But anyway, here it is said anudvega karam vakyam. Generally, we should not speak that is agitating to others. Satyam, then next it should be satyam also. It should be truthful. It should not be just, we are glorifying, lip service is called. Sometimes devotees they have this habit, you are like this, you are like that. They go on glorifying, which may or may not be truth also. Glorification is there, but it should not. It should be very apt, properly, which everybody can observe. Oh, these qualities these devotees have. And that's what we are talking about. Like so, satyam. And Srila Prabhupada writes, the process of speaking in spiritual circle is to say something upheld by the scriptures. One should at once quote from scriptural authority to back up what he is saying. That is the Bhagavad Gita as it is, Satyam. That's how makes it authoritative. Prabhupada, this purport you see many times we discuss. Either he will quote the shloka directly, shloka number from the scripture, or he will paraphrase it in his own words. So while reading the purports, we will understand, oh, this is coming from this verse, okay, in the scriptures. Anudvegakaram vakyam satyam. That's the second thing. Priyam, it should be pleasurable. It should be pleasurable. It should be pleasing to hear. So that's what we call it. We are glorifying the spiritual master of the Vyas Puja, or glorifying the devotees. It should be pleasurable. It should be nice analogies and nicely heartfelt glorification should be done. So it should be priyam and hitam. Hitam means it should be beneficial also. So if you observe very closely, how many times we are fulfilling all these criteria, it's very, very high standard. But that's what we need to aspire for. And then swadhyaya abhyasanam. Swadhyaya abhyasanam means always practice the Vedic study. Limitless talk of Vedic literature, one should study this. This is called penance of the speech. But Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan says, recitation of the Vedas, Swadhyaya Abhyasanam. Like many devotees, they recite Bhagavad Gita on the Ekadashis, 2-3 hours only the shlokas. Therefore, you have this shloka test also, no, Bhakti Shastri. So that's actually part of this, our study of the speech. Okay. Next one, we'll stop here, take a break or what? Or go on. Maybe we'll take a break. And then we'll come back to study 17.16 onwards, the austerity of the mind. Okay. If you have any questions, please park them because I will try to complete this chapter today and then we'll take the questions. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, where are we? Yes, we are on to the 16th verse now. So, we are talking about austerities of the mind. 17.16. Gangaputra, Sri Gangaputra Prabhuji, you had a question. Can you please wait till we complete our discussion?
Prabhuji, the question regarding the.
Can you just park your question till we complete our discussion? Then I'll take the questions.
Yeah. Can I ask Prabhuji now?
No. I'm saying, can you just remind me at the.
Yes.
Thank you. 17.16. Mana prasada samyatvam maunam atma vinigraha bhava samshuddhir iti etat manas etat tapa manasam uchyate. Yeah, please read Sri Gangaputra 17.16 translation.
And satisfaction, simplicity, gravity, self-control, and purification of one's existence are the austerities of the mind.
Yeah, please read the purpose.
To make the mind austere is to detach it from sense gratification. It should be so trained that it can be always thinking of doing good for others. The best training for the mind is gravity in thought. One should not deviate from Krishna consciousness and must always avoid sense gratification. To purify one's nature is to become Krishna conscious. Satisfaction of mind can be obtained only by taking the mind away from thoughts of sense enjoyment. The more we think of sense enjoyment, the more the mind becomes dissatisfied. In the present age, we unnecessarily engage the mind in so many different ways for sense gratification. And so there is no possibility of mind becoming satisfied. The best course is to divert the mind to the Vedic literature, which is full of satisfying stories, as in the Puranas and the Mahabharata. One can take advantage of this knowledge and thus become purified. The mind should be and one should think of the welfare of all. Silence means that one is always thinking of self-realization. The person in Krishna consciousness observes perfect silence in this sense. The control of the mind means detaching the mind from sense enjoyment. One should be straightforward in his dealings and thereby purify his existence. All these qualities together constitute austerity in mental activity.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Yes. So we can observe that the austerities of the body are relatively easy. Austerity next of the speech are relatively more difficult, and austerities of the mind, mana prasadam, saumyatvam, etc., is much more difficult than even this austerity of the speech. So mana prasada, satisfaction. A brahmana means actually satisfied in whatever condition is being kept. In fact, Prabhupada writes in the purport, Bhagavatam, why the earlier times the brahmanas were poor, even if the brahmanas qualities are what is that? 6 qualities of a brahmana he should do. Patan Patan, Yajan Yajan, Dana Pratikra. So even if he receives so much of Dan, charity, Dana Pratikra, he will give back that in charity also to the others, like that. And they used to purposefully remain poor. Why? Because that way they will depend on the Supreme Lord to provide everything, like that. When the hunter Mrugari was told by Narad Muni, spiritual master, break your bow and arrow. He thought, if I break my bow and arrow, how will I sustain? How will I get my food? How will I maintain my family? Said, your bow and arrow is not the cause of your maintenance. Supreme Lord is maintaining. And that's how he became a sadhu. Everybody from around the village, they're wondering, oh, how come that hunter became a sadhu? Everybody wants to visit him. And Prabhupada says, in the Vedic culture, you don't go to visit a sadhu with empty hands. You always go with some grains. So much of food grains he was getting. He said, Narad Muni, please don't send so much to me. This is, I cannot maintain. It's too much more than what I require. So Mana Prasadam, it's actually the satisfaction of the mind. And Prabhupada said what hampers the satisfaction is, sense gratification and then the gravity of the mind is required. And for that, we should study the scriptures. There is no dearth of scriptures, Srila Prabhupada books, and we should do that and always think of welfare of the others. It's very, very difficult. Saumyatva means without being duplicitous. Sometimes we think something, we say something, and we do something else. So that should not be there. Maunam is actually the gravity. Maunam means sometimes when Babaji was there in Prabhupada times also, he used to always carry a slate in his hand. And he was like, Mauna Vrat. But he will write something on the slate, and that's how, his followers, they will read and they will do. So that is not actually Maunam. Maunam is not speaking, not just not speaking. Actual Maunam is speaking nothing but Krishna consciousness. So if you see Srila Prabhupada's life, that is the ideal. Whether he was with journalist, with a disciple, room conversation, nighttime Bhagavatam purports, or giving Bhagavatam class, with the airports, wherever he goes, with the guest, all the time is speaking of the Krishna. That's actually the Maunam. Atma Vinigraha, self-control. Bhava Samshuddhim. That's actually purifying our existence. So purifying our existence by eating such kind of food stuff, prasadam, and then having all these things, controlling the mind and having gravity of thought, always thinking about the Krishna, always thinking about pleasing the Guru, Sadhu, and Shastri, Guru and Krishna, and the spiritual master. Like that. Okay. So controlling the mind, Atma Vinigraha Prabhupada writes, control the mind means detaching the mind from sense gratification. So that's about the Atma Vinigraha. Next, now, after talking about these three types of austerities, by body, by speech, and mind, now I will give general category of goodness, passion, and ignorance, the austerities. 17.17. Shraddhaya paryataptam tapas. Shraddhaya paryataptam tapas tat trividham nare. Aphalakankshi bhi yukte satvikam parichakshate. Threefold austerities, body, mind, speech. Perform with transcendental faith by means not expecting material benefits, but engage only for sake of the Supreme. It's called austerity in goodness. So, look, Srila Prabhupada writes, Shraddhaya Parya. Shraddhaya Parya means transcendental faith. But if you see Srila, we are talking about the faith, worship, everything austerity in three modes, right? So this is not literally transcendental, although Srila Prabhupada can say like that. But Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan says, Shraddhaya Parya means with full faith. Because we are talking about austerity mode of goodness, it's full faith. And Afala Akankshi means without longing for results, not expecting any phala. And Yukte means with concentrated mind. But this is a habit of Srila Prabhupada. Whether it is Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, whatever is going on, he will always connect it to Krishna consciousness. So therefore, he talks about transcendental faith and, for the sake of the Supreme, is austerity in the goodness. So that is actually transcendental austerity. That also you can understand. So that's in the general mode of goodness. This characteristic should be there. Full faith should be there. And it should be without any expecting any material benefits. Aphalakankshi, and it should be yukta, means with concentrated mind. Mode of passion, austerity. Satkara mana pujartham tapodammen chaivaya kriyate tadiha proktam rajasam chalam. So please read. Aruna Mataji, can you please read 17.18?
17.18, right, Pooja?
Yeah.
Penance performed out of pride and for the sake of gaining respect, honor, and worship is said to be in the mode of passion. It is neither stable nor permanent.
Yeah, please read the small part.
Purport also?
Yeah.
Sometimes penance and austerity are executed to attract people and receive honor, respect, and worship from others. Persons in the mode of passion arrange to be worshipped by subordinates and let them wash their feet and offer riches. Such arrangements, artificially made by the performers of penances, are considered to be in the mode of passion. The results are temporary. They can be continued for some time, but they are not permanent.
Okay, so it's a mode of passion, satkar, respect, mana, honor, pujartham, receiving worship, respect, honor, worship. Tapo, dambena, again the damba comes there for the making a show like that, right? So this kind of, if you do austerities, then actually it will be achalam, adhruva. Chalam means it is flickering. Oh, sorry, achalam. Chalam. Chalam means it's flickering. And then adhruvam, it is temporary. Right. So there is a statement by Jayas Radha Swami Maharaj. Many times devotees they do this fasting, nirjala fasting, right? Nirjala. So he says, fasting from grains, water on Ekadashi, but feasting on false. So it is Satkaram, Puja, Man, Samman, etc. for that. Dambehena, showing how great I am. Of course, not everybody doing like that, they are having that attitude. But it is possible, at least we can see ourselves and we may do something like that also. Okay. So now I studied in the mode of ignorance. Muda grahena atmano yat pidaya kriyate tapa. Parasyo Parasyotsad anartham va tamasam udarutam. Yeah. So penance performed out of foolishness, mudha, grahena, atmano, with self-torture, atmano yat pidaya, kriyate tapa, you perform the penances and to destroy or injure others. Parasyo sad anartham, like that. Parasya utsadana anartham, utsadana artham. Utsadanartham is for sake of causing annihilation. Parasya means for others. To destroy or injure others is said to be in the mode of ignorance. So mode of goodness is always, ignorance is always opposite to the mode of goodness. In goodness we saw in a full faith and without expecting any material benefits like that. But here in the mode of ignorance, it is completely opposite. There are instances of foolish penance undertaken by demons like Hiranyakashipu, perform austere penances to become immortal and kill the demigods. He prayed to Brahma for such thing, but ultimately was killed by the Supreme Lord. To undergo penance for something which is impossible is certain mode of ignorance. So, do you see any examples in the society about austerities in the mode of ignorance? These qualities like foolishness, self-torture, destroy or injure others. Now, we earlier also spoke the example of Brikasu. He was cutting his own body and offering to the Lord, Lord Shiva, and then someone is about to offer now his neck. So Lord Shiva came and said, ask me what it is. And then he asked the bone, whomsoever I touch, his head should actually go into the pieces. Like, and then he started trying to touch Lord Shiva's head only. And then, there are some faiths in India where they do self-torture. Tapasya is the main item for them. So when they have to shave their head, the monks or even the ladies, how they shave their head, they don't just shave it head, they pluck the hair one by one. And that's their austerity. Self-torture. Plucking the hair one by one. So painful, right? Sometimes you see somebody, have this body piercing. You have seen cheek piercing or the lips, they have something you put here, you put there here, something that on the bodily parts. So body piercing also sometimes, so-called modern tapasya for modern people. Or tattoos. Tattoos, very famous right nowadays with youngsters. Once I was there in Switzerland, I used to be in the temple Saturday, Sunday in Zurich temple. Used to travel from my workplace. So I met a local dude, a young boy, 20 years old boy. He had his entire face. He was very fair, like a Swiss person. His entire face was tattooed, completely, made dark with whatever. Full design was. I said, can you remove that anytime? Remove is very painful. Put also is very painful. To remove it also very painful. Such as the austerity. The austerities are definitely required, right? All this is austere, right? Painful. Even these are austerities in more ignorance. Okay. Next, charity comes now. Charity in the three modes. Our favorite topic. 17.20 दातव्यम इति यद्दानं दीयते अनुपकारिणे देशे काले च पात्रे च तद्दानं सात्विकं स्मृतम्. Please read. Okay, yes, Krishna Gopal.
Charity given out of duty, without expectations of return and at the proper time and place, and to a worthy person is considered to be in the mode of goodness.
Okay. Oh, so charity also can be defined. Everything under the sky, everything, everyone can be divided according to three. That's how so subtle science is this. Now, whether it is a time, whether it is music, whether it is your speech, whether it is your food, whether it is your austerity, whether it is your charity, you name it, and it is can be divided under the three. So it is just like the three modes, the primary colors. What are they? In our electrical engineering, we studied RYB, red, yellow, and blue. So only three primary colors are there, but if you mix them, you can make hundreds and thousands of shapes, right? Varieties. So there was advertisement long time back. Mera wala pink. Mera wala pink means what? What kind of darkness mixture I want, that kind of pink, it's my pink. So similarly, in pink also there can be hundreds of shades. So similarly, only three modes are there, basic colors, like basic colors. But when the combination is made, there can be hundreds of varieties. Vyakti titkya prakriti visayi, a number of men, each one is having different flavor like that, different color like that. It's made up of different combinations with three moods. So charity given out of datavyam, out of duty, yad danam, anupakarini, anupakarini irrespective of any returns. And then it should be also desha, kale cha patre cha. What time, what place, to whom you are giving, everything actually, if you do it properly, then it is called in the mode of goodness. So Srila Prabhupada writes, and the very spiritual charity given to person engaged in spiritual activities is recommended. Directly, Srila Prabhupada doesn't talk about goodness only, he talks directly transcendental, spiritual only. Correct? There is no, because anybody reads it, any one purport, one line also, he will be benefited from this. There is no recommendation of giving charity indiscriminately. Spiritual perfection is always the concern. And Desha Kaleja Patra means what place? Place of pilgrimage. Time means at lunar or solar eclipse at the end of the month. To qualified Patra means qualified Brahmana or a Vaishnava, like that. So, charity to the poor is sometimes given out of compassion, but if poor man is not worth giving charity to, then there is no spiritual advancement. In other words, indiscriminate charity is not recommended in the Vedic literature. So nowadays in corporate world also we have the CSR, right? Corporate social responsibilities. A lot of charity is being given for the education, healthcare, women empowerment, rural development, this, that, etc. So if you read, if you want to read about transcendental charity or about this charity also, Prabhupada writes very nicely in the second canto, 2.3.17, you can take down as a homework, where Ayur Hariti Vaipumsam Udyan Astanchayams. Every rising and setting of the sun, it takes away the our Ayu, our lifespan, sun, by every rising and setting. Similarly, Yasyate Yakshano Nita Uttama Shloka Varte. Similarly, the time spent in hearing about the Lord Hari or of the Supreme Lord, that will not take away our life, but that will bring us nearer to the God, to the Lord. So, there Srila Prabhupada writes about the charity, that charity is generally recommended to give a Brahmana. Even if you give, what is the charity? He says, charity is actually if you give to a suitable person, it is a guaranteed bank balance in our next life. So by giving charity, who's benefited? We are the one who are most benefited. Of course, if it is given Desha Kalecha Pataricha. He says, even if you give charity to a non-Brahmin, the charity will come back in the same proportion. If you give charity to a half-educated Brahmana, money will come back double. Okay. And then if you give to a learned Brahmana, fully, engaged in service, then the money is returned hundreds and thousands of times. And then if you give the money to a person who is self-realized, like we are giving charity to ISKCON, Srila Prabhupada, spiritual masters, then it is written unlimited multiplication. There is no limit to what it will come back. So this is actually, of course, we don't give it that again. That is not again goodness and transcendental. But the point is, everything has a science. It is so subtle. It is not just, somebody is drinking liquor and some boy comes, "Saab kuch de do, take this liquor bottle and go away, and I'm giving charity of the liquor." No, that is not okay. Everything has its science is there behind that. Okay. Now the charity in the mode of passion. यत्तु प्रत्युपकारार्थम फलम उद्दिश्य वा पुनः दीयते च परिक्लिष्टम तद्दानम राजसं स्मृतम्. But charity performed with expectations of some returns, or with desire for future results, or in a grudging mood, is said to be charity in the mode of passion. Passion means some desire, some expectation is there of the return. Return gift, that concept is there, no? Our time. Return gift, give something, then take some return gift. Like that, get something in return. With a desire for future results, and in a grudging mood. Oh, why did I give that money? I should not have given. I should have given some less also. So that is actually in the passion. Charity is sometimes performed for elevation to the heaven king. And grudging charity means sometimes with great trouble, with this repentance afterwards. Why have I spent so much in this? Pariklishtam, grudging. Charity is also sometimes given under some obligation. What to do? Guru is asking me, I have to give him Guru Dakshina. Like his obligation. Some elderly person asking, I don't have desire, but I have to give him now something. Le bhai, chalo yahan se. Dur, bhago yahan se. At the request of a superior, these kinds of charity are said to be given in the mode of passion. There are many charitable foundations which offer their gifts to institutions where sense gratification goes on. Such charities are not recommended in the Vedic literature. Only charity in mode of goodness is recommended. Everything, charity, austerity, speech, faith, everything should be in goodness only. That is only recommended. Anything which is in the passion and ignorance, we should avoid. And to make that distinction, this analysis and description is going on. Now, ulta, whatever charity is in the goodness, ulta of that is in mode of ignorance. Adeshkale yaddanam apatrebhya diyate asakruta avajnatam tattamsam udartam. And charity performed at an impure place, improper time, unworthy person. There was Deshkale Patricha, here it is exactly opposite. Impure place, improper time, unworthy person, or without proper attention and respect, is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Adeshkale yaddanam apatrebhyascha diyate. That is very clear. Asat krutam. Asat krutam is without respect or etiquettes, without uttering proper words to whom the charity is being given. Asat krutam. Avajnatam, without proper attention or without proper regard. That is avajnatam. So adesha, akale, apatra, that is explained. Contributions for indulgence, intoxication, and gambling are not encouraged here. That sort of contribution is a moral ignorance. Such charity is not beneficial. Rather, sinful persons are encouraged. And asatkrutam avadnyatam, similarly, a person gives charity to a suitable person, but without respect and without attention, that sort of charity is also said to be in the mode of darkness. So that completes on the second section. Sakriya Mansa is obscured in charity mode in three modes. Now we'll talk about the last section, 23 to 28. These 5-6 verses, where if you want to make everything all right, for the pleasure of the Supreme, then whatever you are doing, austerity, charity, penances, you utter these words, Om Tat Sat. Of course, uttering Om Tat Sat is not just mechanical. Nothing is mechanical in our Krishna consciousness movement. With the chanting, it is not mechanical. Worshipping, it is not mechanical. Otherwise, you can put some robots on nowadays. They are so much going ahead in robotics. The short of pujaris, somebody is going to be yatra, you can put some robots and perform the puja, right? But it is not mechanical. So no activity. Therefore, is given ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. We should be always conscious of Krishna, Krishna's representatives, and Krishna's devotees. So chanting Om Tat Sat purifies, our activities. That is actually. So what is this Om Tat Sat? That we will also explain first. Okay. So whatever defects are there in our all these activities, then those will be purified, and you can get free from them if you do this Om Tat Sat. So 17.23, we'll talk about it. Om Tat Sat iti nirdesho brahmanas trividha smruta brahmanas tena vedascha yajnascha vihita pura. So from the beginning of creation, the three words Om Tat Sat were used to indicate the supreme absolute truth. These three symbolic representations were used by Brahmanas while chanting the hymns of the Vedas and during sacrifices for the satisfaction of the Supreme. Om Tat Sat. So these are three words. Om. Om is addressing to whom? To the Supreme Lord only. All them are addressing Supreme Lord only, Supreme Absolute Truth. But all the Vedic hymns they start with Om. We'll see that. So that's indicating Nirdesho. Nirdesho means what? It is actually indicating Om Tat Sat iti Nirdesho. So the Supreme Absolute Truth is indicated by this Om. Tat. Tat means that. Sat. Sat is actually eternal. Om, that is eternal. Or the Supreme Absolute Truth, that is eternal. So Brahmanas Trividha Smruta. So these three kinds of utterances, Om, Tat, and Sat. These Brahmanas, they actually they have these three kinds of utterances. Smruta, it is said, Brahmanas tena vedascha yajnascha Gita. So whenever they used to utter the Vedas or chanting the hymns of the Vedas, and during the yajnascha, during performing the sacrifices, Vihita Pura. Since when? Since long ago, since long time back, like they have been doing this, Vihita Pura, formerly. So, Srila Prabhupada used to sign sometimes his letter. At the end of the letter, he will say, yours ever well wish, right? Before that, he will just write sometimes, Om Tat Sat. Om Tat Sat. Means this is for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, Krishna, Om Tat Sat. Like that. That is the way. Or you will see, whenever we recite the Bhagavad Gita shlokas, Om Tat Sat, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Su Upanishatsu, Brahma Vidyayam, Yoga Shastre, Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade. What is this? Shraddhatre Vibhag Yogo Nama, Sapto Dasho Dhyaya. So Om Tat Sat, whatever we are reciting, let this be for the pleasure of the Om Tat Sat, that means the Supreme Lord Krishna, for his pleasure, for the pleasure of the Supreme. So Om Tat Sat is the one way of addressing the Supreme Lord or Supreme Absolute Truth. But Srila Prabhupada will also tell us, it is mainly in the Vedic times, and especially the Mayavadis, they use this Om more than anybody else to indicate the absolute truth. But we have this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which is equivalent to Om Tat Sat also. Right? So, how to, it has been explained that penance, sacrifice, charity, foods are divided into three categories: mode of goodness, passion, and tolerance. Now, Prabhupada is building the case here. But whether first class, second class, or third class, they're all conditioned, contaminated by the material modes of nature. When they are aimed at the Supreme, now this is the thing. Supreme Om Tat Sat, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Eternal, they become means for spiritual evolution. That means they will not remain ordinary in the modes, but they will become transcendental. In the scriptural injunctions, such an objective is indicated. These three words, Om Tat Sat, particularly indicate the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Vedic hymns, the word Om is always found. One second. Yeah. And what if we don't do that, if we don't follow it? One who acts without following the regulations of the scriptures will not attain the absolute truth. He will get some temporary results, but not the ultimate end of life. The conclusion, now the conclusion. The conclusion is that the performance of charity, sacrifice, penance must be done in the mode of goodness. Performance in the mode of passion, ignorance, they are certainly inferior in quality. The three words Om Tat Sat are uttered in conjunction with the holy name of the Supreme Lord. So there are many Vedic hymns, like we do this Nitya Homa in the temple. So we recite this Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam Sta Pashyanti Surya Divi Vachakshuvatmam Tad Vipra Suripandevo Jagruvagam Sasminte Vishnu Yat Paramam Padam. So Om Tat Sat, there also it comes Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam. So whose lotus feet are Paramam Padam, or whose abode is Paramam Padam, like that. Or we also recite Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We also recite during Bhagavatam starts with Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Like that. This is the same mantra given to Dhruva by Narad Muni in the Vedic times. You studied in the Ishopanishad Om Purnamada Purnamidam. So Prabhupada writes about the Supreme Personality Godhead. Where that Supreme Personality Godhead is mentioned in that mantra, that is indicated by Om Purnamada Purnamidam. Otherwise, he is complete, that is complete, this is complete. What comes from the complete is complete. Where is Krishna in this? That's Om Purnamada. That's indicated. That's how Prabhupada writes it. And then Purusha Sukta also we recite. Purusha Sukta also it starts with Om only. Om, what is that? Om Sahastra Shirsha Purusha Sahasrapat. Om Sahastra Shirsha Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrapad Sabhumim Vishwato Vritva Attatishta Dashangulam Om Purusha Evedagam Sarvam Om Etavanasya Mahima Om Tripadurdudit. So everything starts with Om Om Om. That's actually Vedic way of chanting the Vedic hymns, and therefore these three words are taken from the Vedic hymns. And Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan, Srila Prabhupada also quote. This is from the Rig Veda. Om iti etad brahmano nedishtam nama. Om is another name of Brahman. Brahman means here Parabrahmana. It's not ordinary Brahman. Om is one name like that. Now the second, Tat. Om is actually addressing Krishna. Tat is also the second name. So all these three names are indicating Krishna only, or Supreme Absolute Truth. Tat means in the Shruti statement it is said, Tat Tvam Asi. You are that. Tat, that you are. What you are? You are Supreme Absolute Truth. You are that Brahman. This is there in the Chandogya Upanishad. Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan quotes. And Sat is the third name. So mentioned in the Shruti, Sad Eva Saumya. Srila Prabhupada also quotes in the purport. So Brahman is Sat, means it is eternal, O gentle one. So all these are actually indicating the Supreme Absolute Truth or Supreme Personality of Godhead only. So there are many references in Bhagavad Gita itself about the Om. Anything you remember or you studied earlier? You can recall? Pitamaste Jagato Mata Dhata Pitamaha Vedyam Pavitram Omkaram Duksami Durayoj. I am the object of knowledge and in the purifier. Vedyam Pavitram, the purifier, and Omkaram, the syllable Om. I am the syllable Om. Krishna also says, I am that Om. No? And Ruksami Durayoj. I am the Rukved, Samved, and Yajur. In the 7th chapter also, when Krishna is explaining his energies and knowledge about the Absolute himself, then he says, Pranava Sarva Vedeshu Shabdakhe Paurusham. So the sound in the ether, the ability in the man, and Pranava Sarva Vedeshu, all the Vedas, the Pranava mantra, that is Omkara, Om, that is actually me. That's what Krishna says. So many places also.
Haribo,
Yes. Hare
your
Krishna.
voice is breaking. Your
My
voice
voice is
is
breaking. Everybody else is okay with my voice, or my voice is breaking for others also?
It is okay.
It's okay, Prabhu.
Okay for me.
I forgot actually to put this after the break. So I don't still input a little bit. Okay, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Is it clear now? Better than earlier? Okay. So many other places also you can find, take it as a homework, and you will find many places Krishna says about this. And Prabhupada writes in one place, especially the impersonal is the Akshara, Yad Aksharam Veda Vido Vadanti, in the 8th chapter, 11th verse, it is there. So there Prabhupada writes, especially for the impersonal is the Akshara or Omkara, the syllable Om is identical with Brahman. Krishna here explains that impersonal Brahman into which the renounced orders of sages enter. That's actually indicating the Supreme Brahman only. Okay, so this first name, second name, third name is a. And if somebody asks, since when this Om Tat Sit is being used, then the Brahmanas Tena Vedasya Yajnasya Vihita Pura. Formally, Srila Prabhupada writes, when Brahma, the first created living entity, performed sacrifices, he indicated by these three words the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the same principle has always been followed by disciplic succession. So, this hymn has great significance. Bhagavad Gita recommends, therefore, that any work done should be done for Om Tat Sat or for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, that's the understanding behind uttering Om Tat Sat. That is for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. So, there is a quotation. Aruna Mataji, if you can read from the screen, please.
Prabhuji, you called my name or Prerna Mataji's name?
You can also read, no problem.
Okay. In the Satya Yuga, the first millennium, all the Vedic mantras were included in one mantra, prana, and root of all Vedic mantras. In other words, the Atharva Veda alone was the source of all Vedic knowledge. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, was the only worshipable deity. There was no recommendation for worship of the demigods. Fire was one only, and the only order of life in human society was known as Hamsa. Purport. In Satya Yuga, there were only one Veda, not four. Later, before the beginning of Kali Yuga, this one Veda, the Atharva Veda, or some say the Yajur Veda, was divided into four: Sam, Yajur, Rig, and Atharva. For the facility,
Okay, yes.
for the facility of human society, in Satya Yuga, the only mantra was Omkara, Om Tat Sat. The same name Omkara is manifest in the mantra Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Sorry, Om Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Is it right, Prabhuji?
Yeah,
Because
it's okay. You can go on.
it's
Unless
and
one is, yeah.
okay. Unless one is a Brahmana, one cannot utter Omkar and get the desired result. But in Kali Yuga, almost everyone is a Shudra, unfit for pronouncing the pranam Omkara. Therefore, the Shastras have recommended the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra Omkara is a mantra or Mahamantra. And Hare Krishna is also a Mahamantra. The purpose of pronouncing Omkara is to address the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And the purpose of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra is the same. Hare, O energy of the Lord. Krishna, O Lord Krishna. Hare, O energy of the Lord. Rama, O Supreme Lord, O Supreme Enjoyer.
Yeah, so Prabhupada is actually saying whatever was there in the Vedic times, now the Brahmanas are not there, we cannot utter it properly, purely. So we can actually say Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That is also okay. So the last lines, Om Tat Sat and Krishna consciousness. When one performs penance, charity, sacrifice with these three words, he is acting in Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is a scientific execution of transcendental activities which enable one to return home back to Godhead. There is no loss of energy in acting in such a transcendental way. So, Om Tat Sat is now being divided into each of these syllables, Om, Tat, and Sat, and each verse will address that. Now, 17.24 will describe about the Om. Tasmad Om iti udarutya yajnadana tapakriya pravartante vidhanokta satatam brahmavadina. Therefore, transcendentalists undertaking performance of sacrifice, charity, and penance in accordance with the scriptural regulations begin always with the Om to attain the Supreme. Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam. This is from Rig Veda 1:20-20. The lotus feet of Vishnu are the supreme devotional platform. The performance of everything on behalf of the Supreme Personality Godhead assures the perfection of all activities. So that's actually the why we utter Om. That's about the Om. And then now 17.25. Tat. Tat iti अनभिसंध्याय फलम यज्ञ तप क्रिया दान क्रियाश्च विविधा क्रियन्ते मोक्ष कांक्षी भी. Now is describing about the tat that Without desiring fruitive results, one should perform various kinds of sacrifice, penance, and charity with the word tat. The purpose of such transcendental activities is to get free from material entanglement. So, how to perform actions? To be elevated to the spiritual position, one should not act for any material gain. Act should be performed for the ultimate gain of being transferred to the spiritual kingdom, back to home, back to Godhead. So that's actually the purpose of uttering Om and then Tat also. Srila Baldevi Devotion writes, sacrifice, austerity, and charity were performed by those desiring liberation. That is what? Moksha Kankshibhi, Kriyante Moksha Kankshibhi. Along with the chanting of the name Tat. Srila Prabhupada also mentions in one place, Tat Vidhi Pranipate. So that actually to get the Tat without aspiration for material benefits. The word Tat is very powerful because it produces a desire for liberation by uttering it with absence of desire. Now the last one is Sat. Om Tat Sat. Now Sat is being used for the Lord and also for his devotees. Sat. Satam Prasangan. It will come in the purport. So 17.26 and 27. Sadbhave sadubhave cha sad iti sadbhave sadubhave cha sad iti etat prayujyate prashaste karmani tatha sa shabda partha yujyate. So यज्ञे तपसि दाने च स्थिति सद इति चोच्यते कर्म चैव तदर्थीयम सद इति एवाभिधीयते सद इति एवाभिधीयते. So what is being said here? The absolute truth is the objective of devotional sacrifice, and it is indicated by the word sat. The performer of such sacrifice is also called sat, as are all works of sacrifice, penance, and charity, which true to the absolute nature, are performed to please the Supreme Person, O son of Pritha. That means Sat Om Tat Sat. Sat is also for addressing that which is eternal, that absolute truth, that Lord Sri Krishna, that Supreme Personality of Godhead which is eternal, and also those who are performing such transcendental activities, the devotees of the Lord, that is Yajna, Dana, Tapasa, whatever it may be, and all the activities themselves, they will also have eternal benefits. So now Krishna is giving a clue in the last few verses, not just to how to transcend the three modes. It's not just to make it in the mode of goodness, austerity, speech, charity, etc., but to transcend by using it Om Tat Sat. So Prashaste Karmani, uh, Prashaste Karmani means here, Prabhupada will write, the word Prashaste Karmani or prescribed duties indicate that many activities prescribed in the Vedic literature, which are purificatory processes, beginning from the time of conception, Garbhadan Samskar, we discussed this, up to the end of one's life, Antim Samskar. Such purificatory processes are adopted for the ultimate liberation of the living entity. In all such activities, it is recommended that one vibrate Om Tat Sat, like Prashaste Karmani. Sadbhave Sadhu Bhave. Now, what is this Sadbhave Sadhu Bhave? The word Sadbhave Sadhu Bhave indicate the transcendental situation. Acting in Krishna consciousness is called Sattva, and one who is fully conscious of the activities of the Krishna consciousness is called Sadhu. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 3:25-25, Satam Prasangan Mama Veera Samvido Bhavanti Rutkarna Rasayana Kata. So there Satam Prasangan, Sat is come. It is talking about that. It is said that the transcendental subject matter becomes clear in the association of the devotees. The word used are Satam Prasanga. Without good association, one cannot achieve transcendental knowledge. Srila Baldevi Devbhushan writes, the word Sat is used to indicate Brahman, Brahma Bhave, and the knower of Brahman, Sadhu Bhave. such as in the phrase Sat Eva Saumya, this is Brahman, and Satam Prasangat, from the association with the nodes of the Brahman. Therefore, the word Sat is suitable to use on auspicious actions such as Upanan and marriages. So it indicates both the Supreme Lord and the Jivas. When initiating a person or offering a sacred trade, one vibrates the words Om Tat Sat. Similarly, in all kinds of performance of yajna, the object is the Supreme Om Tat Sat. The word Tad Arthyam further means offering service to anything which represents the Supreme, including such service as cooking and helping in the Lord's temple, or any other kind of work for broadcasting the glories of the Lord. So the conclusion is the supreme word Om Tat Sat are thus used in many ways to perfect all activities and make everything complete. Now the last verse, okay, that's about the Om Tat Sat, how we are to uh, make all our austerities, penances, charity, everything transcendently for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. And Om Tat Sat indicates the Supreme Lord, all the three words, the first name, second name, and the third name. Now, I have heard about the Sat actions, Arjuna is saying now. So, what about the Asat actions? You know, we should know we should know positive and we should also know negative also. Sat we understood about it. Now, what about Asat? So, last verse Krishna gives him the clue. Ashradaya utam dattam tapas taptam krutam chayat. Asad iti uchyate partha nachatat pritya no iha. So anything done as sacrifice, charity, or finance without faith in the Supreme, Ashraddaya Utam, O son of Pritha, is impermanent. Asat iti uchyate, it is impermanent. It is false. It is called Asat and is useless both in this life and the next. So now, second paragraph, as usual, Srila Prabhupada gives the summary of the entire 17th chapter. And the first paragraph talks about Asad iti uchyate. So, Isha Madhuri, can you please read? Last verse said 17.28 purport.
Yes. Anything done without the transcendental objective, whether it be sacrifice, charity, or penance, is useless. Therefore, in this verse, it is declared that such activities are abominable. Everything should be done for the Supreme in the Krishna consciousness. Without such faith and without the proper guidance, there can never be any fruit. In the Vedic scriptures, faith in the Supreme is advised. In the pursuit of the Vedic instructions, the ultimate goal is the understanding of Krishna. No one can obtain success without following this principle. Therefore, the best course is to work from the very beginning in Krishna consciousness under the guidance of the bona fide spiritual master. That is the way to make everything successful. In the conditioned state, people are attracted to worshipping the demigods, ghosts, or yakshas like Kuvera. The mode of goodness is better than the mode of passion and ignorance, but one who takes directly to Krishna consciousness is transcendental to all the modes of material nature. Although there is a process of gradual elevation, if one, by the association of pure devotees, takes directly to Krishna consciousness, that is the best way, and that is recommended in this chapter. To achieve success in this way, one must first find the proper spiritual master, receive training under his direction, then one can achieve faith in the Supreme. When that faith matures in course of time, it is called love of God. This love is the ultimate goal of the living entities. One should therefore take the Krishna consciousness directly. This is the message of the 17th chapter.
Okay, thank you. Om Tat Sat. So we just completed now 17th chapter. Is Om Tat Sat. So we saw about the Arjuna's question in the beginning. If somebody is not doing Shastri Vidim Utstrujya Yajante Shraddhayanita, but he has a lot of faith, but is not according to the scripture. So what happens to that? In response to that question, Krishna started explaining everything with respect to the three modes. That is the faith in three modes, then worship in three modes, food in the three modes, then the austerities in three modes, charity in the three modes, yajna in the three modes, and ultimately he also tells us we should be ultimately aiming for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord by using these words Om Tat Sat. and then the explanation of Om, Tat, and Sat also was done. So, any questions or clarifications? Where is our Prabhu? Is there Sri Ganga Putra Prabhu? You had some question earlier. You raised the hand during the half time, break time.
Yes, please.
Yeah. What's your question or query?
Could you my question is regarding the Uchista, which you elaborated. Generally, in family life, when we sit for honoring Prasadam, children comes and they also sit around.
Huh?
Children,
Children, yes.
they comes and they also honor. And in other way also, when we take plate, children also demand they also want the same plate, and everything should be like us, and they won't be able to complete it. So then we don't want to waste it. That also like, so it is a vice versa. So how it should be managed?
Yeah, so we need to, this is a part of education and training. So we need to train children to understand that they can eat independently. That's very good if they start eating without the help of mother and father as early as possible. But then it is the duty of those who are serving prasadam that they should give very, very little. And they generally, we know our children, what they will like, what they will not eat, etc., etc. So whatever we know they are not going to eat, we should not serve them or serve them, not serve them. And whatever they like also, we should serve very little, and if they finish, we can tell them, if you want more, I'll give 10 times more. There's no problem. Like that, if we do, then we need not have to take any uchishta. Like that. That is the standard. Okay. But now, of course, in the family life, everything goes on. We children take more, I want more, and they leave it halfway. And then the others, the parents, they have to eat it. So that's the glory of Grihastha Ashram, what to do. But this is the principle. We should serve them and serve them very, very little. And as soon as finish them, we should make them understand that you should not waste prasad. In our Pune temple, there's one devotee I see many times in festivals. Many times, what happens, the server also doesn't know. There's so much crowd is there, and children come with the plate, and the server, is in charity mode. He's giving enough on the plate, and the children eat something and they just waste. And one devotee is standing at the, that bin where you throw away the remaining prasad. So he will send them back. Don't waste. Go back and eat, and then only come with the empty plate. Otherwise, you take it to some plastic bag, etc. You take it home and then eat it later. Don't waste prasadam. Take only that. So it is both responsibility. The responsibility of the children, we make them responsible. Take only as much you need, and responsibility of the elders, serve them only as much you need. So that way we can avoid. That's the principle. Okay, Prabhu?
And what about other way? Like when we sit for honoring Prasadam, they also want to sit along with us.
Hey, if it is small child, if it is not possible to make them understand, it's okay. What to do? So many things we are not doing perfectly. It's okay. But as long as they understand, they can be made to understand. We should make them understand. That's the point. Otherwise, it's okay. Yeah.
Also, another one more question. This is regarding the charities, and also while we can't avoid actually practically
I couldn't hear last question. Please repeat last line, last sentence.
While being in this world or in this scenario of all of these people, we stay in a society where there are many cats and many people stay. Also, they celebrate different festivals like Ganesh Chaturthi, Durga Puja, and obviously we need to pay them some charity. So we don't know how they use, but as being with this kind of culture, we also pay. So that also you give the example elaborated nowadays people milking the cows. They milk directly with the machine. So we don't know cow whether it is in Vatsali or not. We don't know. But still we can't avoid. We don't have any other alternative. We buy it. We know, but still we buy. So what is the solution for this thing?
So only solution, so the only solution is, so two questions. So last part I'll answer first. So we don't know where it is coming from, the food, the grains, whether it is dharmic, organic, adharmic, sinful person, which faith, etc., atheistic person. sinful, demonic person. So best way is, Prabhupada said, devotees should have farm communities. They grow their own food, they plant their own food, they make their own food, and they offer, and then they serve also. If that is not possible, whatever is coming to our place from grocery, offer it to the Lord, and that's it. That is the way, we can get away from that. And we cannot do everything on our own while living in the city. That is not possible. Secondly, you were also asking about living in the society, and they ask for some dakshina and some vargani fees, etc., for festivals, which we are not very obviously they are not Krishna conscious. But then what to do? We are living in the society, right? So we are living in the society. See, ultimately, everything should be done in favoring our Krishna consciousness. Anukulya se sankalpam. If we, by not giving charity, by not giving their vargani fees, whatever minimum they are asking, right? Then if we are not having good relations with the neighbors, and we are being isolated kind of person, if you are living with the devotees, they will never ask you such things. But if you are living where non-devotees are more, then also we need to have a normal relation with the everybody, right? So anytime anything can happen, goes wrong. So we have to give it, but we have to give it and with a grudgingly, right? Inside, at least we can beg forgiveness to the Lord. I'm giving this. I don't want to give this, but what to do? If I don't give it here, then it will be difficult for me to, stay with these neighbors, and then my Krishna consciousness will be hampered one way or the other. That way, you can beg forgiveness from the Lord. So Lord will not just understand your actions. Lord will also understand your purpose. With what mentality, with what attitude we are giving. Like that. Sometimes Prabhupada was there in one place, one well-wisher's place, and they were serving food, and Prabhupada also sitting, all the disciples were sitting, and in between they starting, push started. And Prabhupada asked, what is going on? Then they say, oh, there is what? Garlic. Garlic in the dal or whatever. Right? Prabhupada said, take it chupchap. Just go eat chupchap and get away. Because it's not such a big deal. Na? But we have come to the well-wisher's house. He was not informed. It's our mistake. We are not informed him, first of all. But now somehow it is there. Now we don't want to hurt him, his sentiments. Like, we just want to get up from the plate now, and then everything is gone for toss. Like that. So similarly, staying with the society, sometimes we have to go with the flow. But also, we can also go and ask them for our Krishna conscious, Janmashtami is coming, this is coming, temple we are building. So please, you also give. So if you are giving them, they will also give. That way also they are benefited, right? You are also benefited. You are collecting from them. So Lord will give that credit to you also. So that should be also the aim. That's what I feel, Prabhuji. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, Aruna, you have a question or clarification?
Yes, Prabhuji, I have a question.
Yes.
Prabhuji, like here also in this purpose, in this purport also it is mentioned, like it at different places and Prabhupada's books I have read, the success of the spiritual life depends upon basically serving the spiritual master or receiving training under his direction. But in nowadays it is not possible. So what is the way out for us, especially with the Mataji's? Like we even don't have such Siksha Gurus with whom we can discuss like every bit of our life and then receive directions and instructions accordingly so that we can grow. So what is the way out in that situation?
So the answer is seek and you shall find. So we should be always seeking, wherever we go, yatras, here, there, so many people are coming to temple, senior devotees, guests are coming. Some Matajis are there, senior, matured, and we hear from them, we talk to them, we come to know. That's very nice. Nowadays, after the pandemic, there's so many online platforms are also available. So by sitting anywhere, we can take guidance from any other person, any other corner of the world also. So we should have a local guidance also, not that every time we can go on online. But we should be always seeking somebody who's senior, matured, is philosophically sound, and practically also trying to do things as per the scriptures. So that way we should be always on the lookout. And as soon as it may not happen that one person you may not find for everything. One person may be good in cooking, one person may be good in the cultural aspect, another person may be good in philosophy. So we should have some network if we are not able to contact spiritual master or the representative of our spiritual master. At least any other senior Matajis who are matured, who have some practical experience, who have gone through the life, whatever situation we are going, they have already gone through. So from whom we can take, they may be having some aspects, different aspects. Somebody is good in this aspect, somebody is good in that aspect. So that should be always our lookout, and we should pray to the Lord. So Lord will make arrangements for you, and He will give you that sincere. If you are sincere, the guidance will come to you. I'm sure of that.
Okay. Thank you, Shastri. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Grantaraj, yes, thank you. Grantaraj Shrimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, उपस्थित गौर भक्तवृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि।